Hello and welcome to today's programme. Today we'll be discussing about the experiences people have with binge drinking, and is it all down to peer pressure or is it simply because they want to impress their friends on a night out? We'll also be discussing about the amount of units that teenagers consume in a night out and the real long-term health issues it can have on them without them realising. Each year, 5,000 to 10,000 people die prematurely from alcohol abuse. The more alcohol a population consumes, the more alcohol-related damages will result, and consumption has been increasingly steadily in England since the Second World War. Here is a clip of the different types of alcohol people usually drink on a night out with their friends and the actual units that they would be consuming. The amount teenagers consume is 5 units in one session. So after this clip you can see that if a teenager consumes a half glass full of wine, which is 5 units, this means that they would have been over the limits of the amount of alcohol they should be drinking, which shows that wine is a very harmful choice of drinks, which seems to be very popular on a night out.
That is almost half a pint, and it's 1/3 of a bottle. So you're after a large glass of wine, it's 1/3 of a bottle. 250ml, it's 185 calories and 3.4 units. Women should drink a maximum of 2 to 3 units a day. So in this one large glass of wine, for women, that is your whole daily allowance.
One in 7 heavy drinkers and 1 in 5 lighter drinkers say they consumed wine last time they drank. This shows how dangerous binge drinking can be. We then have another very interesting clip that shows that a bar of chocolate can actually be more expensive than 1 unit of alcohol, which is shocking.
With obesity becoming a huge health issue in the UK, it's not just burgers and pies that we should be worried about eating. It's the alcohol that we're drinking too.
What's important to understand is that there's a lot of calories in alcohol, actually 7 calories a gram.
There are 250 calories in 1 pint of strong beer, and this is 10% of the average man's recommended energy intake for one day.
NHS Local asked a group of 8 friends to keep a diary of how much they drank over a typical weekend. In part 1, we found out that the girls drank more than 6,000 calories between them, and Jessica polished off half that by herself. So how does that compare to the boys?
Down to the main event, the gents. Okay, so over this weekend, you consumed 10,818 calories. No. Who do we think the biggest culprit was here? Chris Cannell.
Yeah.
You consumed, over this weekend, 4,667 calories. That is half, pretty much, the amount of the total for the whole group. You described that as a standard weekend.
I didn't feel that much.
Chris drank the most out of the boys across the weekend, with 20 bottles of lager, 2 cocktails, 500 millilitres of punch and 4 bottles of Alka-Pop. Ashley drank 8 bottles and 1 pint of lager. Adam had 4 pints of snakebite, 2 glasses of red wine, 2 shots of sambuca, 2 pints of lager and a litre of strong cider. And finally Chris had 2 large bottles of strong lager, 2 double vodka and cranberries, 3 bottles of cider, 2 vodka and colas and 2 shots of apple sours. Now that's a lot of booze, but what does that look like in terms of food? First up, the girls.
So Jessica, you drank your way through 3,300 calories this weekend. If we put that in terms of food, what would you pick out on your plate here that would be the equivalent of 3,300 calories?
Lots. 1, 2, 3, 4 donuts. 5 slices of pizza. 7 cookies. 2 slices of very heavily buttered bread. I think it's that.
That's not a bad guess at all. Do you want to keep on adding the pizza?
How much more pizza?
Just a little bit more.
Surely not.
Okay. What about your bread?
Oh my god.
Oh my God.
You can take away a few cookies now. You probably didn't
thanks.
have that many. That
That's
there
alright.
is the same amount of calories as what you drank this weekend.
I'm disgusted with myself, actually, I've got to say.
So Jessica, you drank your way through the equivalent of 8 slices of pizza, 4 jam donuts, 4 slices of bread and heavily ladled butter, and 3 cookies there.
So altogether that's 3,300 calories. And when the total recommended daily intake for a woman is just 2,000 calories, it means Jessica's had more than 1.5 times that amount just in alcohol.
If you knew you were drinking that many calories, would you still drink it?
No, I don't. I really honestly don't think I would. Maybe if that was like an entire week's worth of alcohol, it wouldn't be so bad. But considering it's only 3 days, that's pretty awful.
Yeah, it is, isn't it?
Yeah, very shocking.
Shocking.
Yeah.
Yeah.
Okay, so now down to you, Chris. This weekend you consumed 4,667 calories in alcohol. How about you plate up and see what you think you had?
4 pieces of buttered bread. 2, 4, 6. We've got 8 pieces of pizza there. This is shameful. 1, 2, 3, 4. We've got 5 donuts there. 6 cookies. Something like that.
We've got 8 slices of pizza there. I'd like you to take another 8 off, please.
No.
You can put 2 of the donuts back, but I'd like you to take another slice of heavily buttered bread and another 4 cookies. So, in total, we have 16 slices of pizza, 10 cookies, 5 slices of heavily buttered bread, and 3 jam donuts.
And that works out to be 4,667 calories, nearly twice the recommended daily intake for a man.
How does that make you feel?
Right now, all I can think about is my arteries, and God help them.
Does that shock you?
Yes, it's shocking to see it visually like this, but in terms of alcohol intake or per units, I think it's shamefully quite representative of what a lot of students are doing. At the beginning of the study, I was completely ignorant as to the relationship between sort of the beer content that we have and also the calories involved. And if I wasn't doing the sport and the exercise that I do, then it might then become a serious problem. So better to sort of understand that now rather than in 5-10 years' time.
Yeah. The units is very important fact to know about when you're binge drinking, but what are the real health issues that can actually arise when you're binge drinking?
At higher doses, alcohol can cause decreased awareness, judgment, coordination, and vision. At very high levels, it can lead to loss of motor function, stupor, unconsciousness, depressed respiration, and physical health. Health risks include cirrhosis, or the hardening of the liver, gastrointestinal problems, damage to the heart muscle, and impaired muscle functioning. Heavy drinkers often tend to miss meals or lack adequate diets and therefore suffer from nutritional imbalances and have an impaired immune system. Brain damage can also occur as the result of a vitamin B2 deficiency. A well-known condition, Korsakoff syndrome, is an amnesic disorder, which means that people find it difficult to remember past events and to learn new things. Alcohol is more dangerous than illegal drugs like heroin and crack cocaine. Experts have evaluated substances including alcohol, cocaine, heroin, ecstasy, and marijuana, ranking them based on how destructive they are to the individual who consumes them and the society as a whole. Researchers have analyzed how addictive alcohol is and how it harms the human body. In addition to other criteria like environmental damage caused by alcohol, its role in breaking up families and its economic costs, such as healthcare, social services, and prison.
From this clip, you can see that the long-term effects that binge drinking can have is that it can give you cirrhosis, which is a very dangerous and life-threatening problem that could be avoided if teenagers avoided the peer pressure that some of their friends give them on a night out, which forces them to binge drink. We all know that sometimes people don't believe the real cause of alcohol it can have until they've actually heard about somebody's real life experiences they've had with alcohol. Here I have an interview with Daniela, which she explains about her own experiences with binge drinking. Welcome to today's programme. The topic today will be on teenagers binge drinking. Hello, welcome to the show, Daniela.
Hiya.
So tell us about your own experience of binge drinking.
Well, it all started at a very young age when I was about 11.
Yeah.
And my friend got in a car with her other friend,
Yeah.
and they had an accident. Unfortunately, the girl died because she drank alcohol previously before she'd got into a car.
So tell us a bit more about that accident.
Well, they'd come from a party.
Yeah.
And then they just got into a car, not realising
Really?
how much she drank,
Yeah.
and unfortunately they both died in the accident.
So would you say that maybe peer pressure was kind of the reason why she ended up in that situation?
Yeah, definitely. She started because obviously I was friends with her at the time, and we all kind of started going out, and it kind of got into a habit, and then we just didn't stop after that.
Yeah. Do you feel like with your friends you feel more confident that you just start to drink because you have no kind of other choice to do when you're out? Is it? Like
yeah, because there's not really much. The government hasn't really done much awareness about it, and on alcohol as well.
Do you feel like the government should do more? Like
definitely, because there's adverts for like smoking and diets and health, but there isn't any on alcohol.
Oh yeah.
And I think there should definitely be more.
Do you feel that you benefit more, your friends might have benefited more if they're more like commercials of more, not so bad kind of binge drinking, but more to show you kind of the reasons behind what binge drinking can do to you?
Yeah, because I think if there would have been more campaigns and more adverts on the TV, I don't think the accident would have happened.
Yeah. When did you kind of realise that maybe you should stop binge drinking?
When the accident happened.
Really?
I kind of thought that I need to stop now.
How long was that?
It was about 3 months ago. That's quite recent, yeah.
Does it kind of, when you think of binge drinking, does it kind of strike a nerve?
Yeah, I kind of immediately think of the accident. I kind of.
So you would never go back to binge drinking?
No, definitely not. Not after that.
Yeah.
Accident.
Would you say that you were kind of aware of the consequences when you were out with your friends and stuff?
At the time, no, but I definitely am now.
Yeah. Do you think maybe they should make it more aware, the pubs and stuff, about like the alcohol, the units that you're drinking?
Yeah, because although they say they don't sell alcohol to over 18s, some do.
Exactly.
They sell it to 16, 15-year-olds because they sold it to us.
Exactly.
And my friends, so.
Yeah, do you feel they should kind of tell you, like instead of hiding the bottle, they should tell you how much units you're doing and be like, no, you've had too much?
Yeah, like they should be able to tell you when to stop.
Yeah.
Like as they're older than you, in most cases, and as they're working there, they should be able to have the confidence to be able to tell you to stop, because obviously it can get dangerous. And obviously if they see you get in the car, they should probably give you some advice saying, I wouldn't suggest getting in the car.
Exactly. Do you feel like men, usually the men that behind the bar, they kind of take they kind of they see that you're vulnerable, and plus because you're drunk, they can kind of take a bit more advantage of you. Yeah, they pour more drinks.
Yeah, they can definitely take more money away from you by doing so.
Yeah. Well, congratulations on being sober now.
Thank you.
How long have you been sober for?
About 3 months, yeah.
That's right. Is it making you feel better? Do you feel?
Yeah, it's better. I feel much healthier.
Yeah. Do you see like those girls when they go out and stuff? Do you kind of think? Do you have a negative aspect on it, or do you kind of it doesn't really bother you as long as they kind of are aware of the consequences?
Yeah, it kind of bothers me a bit because obviously I think immediately back to the accident.
Yeah.
But if it's, I mean, each to their own really. Exactly. If they want to do it, then that's fine. That's their problem.
Yeah. Well, do you have any words of advice to teenagers that might be in the same situation you were 3 months ago?
To definitely be more aware of the consequences.
Yeah.
To know your limits.
Yeah.
And know when to stop, really.
Exactly. Well, thank you for coming on the show, Danielle.
Right.
Hopefully we'll see you again.
Yeah, definitely.
And that's it for today, and hopefully this has changed some people's mind on the topic of teenagers binge drinking. That's it for today's programme, and hopefully this has made people change their minds on the topic of binge drinking.